Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my favorite Kanto Cup Pokemon, Purified ALOLAN Raticate. ALOLAN Raticate is a dark and normal type Pokemon with the moveset of Quick Attack, Crunch, and Return. Before the Shadow was released, ALOLAN Raticate typically ran Hyper Fang as its second charge move, but that really lacked the closing power that it gets from Return. I paired it up with a Shadow Nidoqueen lead and a Lapras save switch, and ended up having some really good sets. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Return ALOLAN Raticate in action in the Kanto Cup. Picking up a terrible lead in the first match, Shadow Nidoqueen into Shadow Lapras. I save switch into my own Lapras, and the opponent is staying in. Honestly, I don't mind this, because this is honestly where I'd probably want to see Lapras anyways. We go for the Skull Bash, we get the shield, and it's a CMP tie. So it appears that we win CMP in this mirror, which is quite nice, because that way we do have a distinct advantage. I am going to be able to buff my defense a second time before they are able to. This Skull Bash will be doing quite a bit of damage if it lands, and we're actually able to grab the second shield. Personally, I don't want to give up my second shield just yet, so I am going to let this damage through, and they need another Skull Bash to take me out. And again, we've seen I do win CMP in this matchup, so I am going to be able to reach Skull Bash number 3. This will not KO because they have buffed their defense by 2 stages, but it will do quite a lot of damage. This will come very close to taking me out. Skull Bash barely does not. I bring in ALOLAN Raticate, and they bring in Shadow Nidoqueen. Shadow Nidoqueen is going to be going straight for the Poison Fang. ALOLAN Raticate does not have to worry about the Poison Fang, but Nidoqueen might want to worry about this return. ALOLAN Raticate going for the return, taking down the Shadow Nidoqueen. And what do they have in the back? We already know about that Shadow Lapras, and they have Beedrill in the back. Beedrill going for an aggressive farm down, but not before I am able to reach a Crunch. Crunch will do some solid chip damage onto the Beedrill. Unfortunately, we do not get the defense drop. I'm going to bring in Shadow Nidoqueen, and from here, I should survive a drill run. I will commit the shield just in case, but they're a non-Shadow Beedrill. I go for the Poison Fang, and they make a fantastic catch back onto the Shadow Lapras. Poison Fang plus a Poison Jab KOs. They bring back in the Beedrill. I go for the catch. I fail the catch, and now this is going to be close. I think I should be able to survive the drill run. We barely hang on, farm down, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, switching Shadow Nidoqueen into Shadow Machamp, a fantastic lead. Opponent save switches into Mew, and we have a fantastic response in ALOLAN Raticate. ALOLAN Raticate absolutely destroys Psychic type save swaps. They go for the Wild Charge, and that doesn't even do half. ALOLAN Raticate is very tanky. I throw the Crunch just before they reach a second Wild Charge, and they actually commit the shield. I should tank any one move from here, so I let it through. It is just a Surf, and I'm able to reach a second Crunch. This will be getting a shield advantage or switch, and they commit the second shield. So the opponent is desperately trying to flip switch here, and if they want switch advantage that badly, I am not going to let them have it. They go for the Surf, I commit the shield, trying to get to another Crunch, but I'm not able to get there. The thing I'm worried about is a potential snipe by Machamp. They go for it, we're able to switch out, preserve the rat, and bring back in Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen going for the Earth Power. We do lose CMP, but so long as they don't have payback, which they do not, we are going to be able to tank any one move. And from here, Earth Power is more than enough to take out the Shadow Machamp. We know they have the very low health Mew. What is that final Pokemon? And it is Lapras. Nidoqueen able to reach a last second Poison Fang, and because of that, this game is going to be over. We still are very close to a move on ALOLAN Raticate, so we bring back in ALOLAN Raticate, going for the Crunch. Crunch connects, we farm down the Mew, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Nidoqueen into Shadow Hypno. Absolutely terrible lead. I'm going to immediately save switch into Lapras, and the opponent responds with Poliwrath. Can't be much more hard countered than that. Poliwrath is going to outpace and reach the Dynamic Punch. Since I'm running regular Lapras, not the Shadow, I'm able to tank the Dynamic Punch and fire back with the Skull Bash. Skull Bash is able to get a shield, but I am not going to be able to reach a second before Poliwrath is going to be able to take me out. So I am just going to let this go down, but this Poliwrath is still a pretty big issue. It's very healthy, and Poliwrath is a big core breaker for this team. So I'm thinking I may actually double shield the Shadow Nidoqueen and commit to the farm down. I am going to be at a shield disadvantage, but if I have a big enough energy lead, maybe I can take out Hypno. They go for the Scald, I commit the shield, and I farm down, and we leave with a ton of energy. I'm going to go for the Poison Fang first, and they do get a confusion through. I thought about transferring it, but I'm like, you know what? I need to get the shield or take them out. So now we're going for the Earth Power. Earth Power gets the shield. We bring in the ALOLAN Raticate, and they have a Charmer in the back in Wigglytuff. Shields are down. ALOLAN Raticate is going to be going for the return. This should do big damage onto the Wigglytuff. It does. Can we quick attack down? We're able to. There's just the Hypno left, but Hypno has a move. This all comes down to, can Shadow Nidoqueen reach a move? Back in comes Shadow Nidoqueen. Shadow Nidoqueen not able to reach a move, and that's a good game. Up into the next match, splitting Shadow Nidoqueen into Shadow Snorlax. Pretty neutral lead overall, but I am going to be staying in here and playing it out since my back Pokemon really do not like to get super powered. I will commit the shield on the Body Slam to preserve some health. They save switch into a Shadow Hypno, and we have Hypno's worst nightmare waiting for it in ALOLAN Raticate. ALOLAN Raticate has a dominating matchup over Hypno. As you can see, Thunder Punch does basically nothing. We're going to farm up to the Double Crunch and throw on the CMP tie for that second Thunder Punch. Crunch almost taking out the Hypno. We are going to easily be able to tank this Thunder Punch, quick attack down, and leave with a ton of leftover energy for whatever they decide to bring in. They bring in the final Pokemon, which is Shadow Nidoqueen. I could have gone for the return here, but the safer play is to go for the Double Crunch. They tank one, they're going to be able to shield the second, but at the very least, this way I do get some guaranteed damage off on the Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen farms down, but we have Lapras to meet it, and Lapras has a very nice matchup here. They go for the Earth Power. That does quite a lot of damage, but we do survive it. Trying to go for the farm down, and they are able to reach a move. I was hoping that Ice Shard would KO. We get knocked out, but from here, we have a ton of energy left on Shadow Nidoqueen, so we are in a commanding position to close out the match. They call the first, but at this point, Nidoqueen is doing what it does best, Poison Fanging the opponent into oblivion. We farm down the Snorlax, farm down the Nidoqueen, and that is a good game. Picking up a terrible lead in the next match, Shadow Nidoqueen into Sandslash. I am going to save switch into the ALOLAN Raticate, and Sandslash is actually staying in. I will throw my Crunch just as they reach the Earthquake, because that way they're not going to be able to catch my move. I do commit the shield, Earthquake would do quite a bit of damage, and then fire back with the Crunch, and Crunch does a lot of damage, and then they bring in ALOLAN Sandshrew. So the opponent is running an incredibly cool team, but that is terrible news for my Shadow Nidoqueen, as it appears like it has nowhere to run. They farm up a ton of energy. I'm worried about a potential Blizzard, so I will commit the shield, but they're actually running Gyro Ball instead of Blizzard. Now, this is very good information to know, because that means that they actually can't hit Nidoqueen for super effective damage with their charge moves. So that way, I actually should be able to get some use out of the Shadow Nidoqueen by poison jabbing down the ALOLAN Sandshrew. Back in comes Shadow Nidoqueen. The game is lagging a bunch. I am furiously tapping on the screen. It comes back, and I am going to have to tank a move. Just a Night Slash, only hits for neutral. Nidoqueen is able to farm down, and we leave with energy. But they have a Hypno in the back, so they are triple strong against Nidoqueen. We land the Earth Power and then bring in Lapras. Lapras is going to be able to reach the Surf, and this should grab a shield because they need this Thunder Punch damage on the Lapras. We do get the shield, and they're going to fire back with the Thunder Punch. From here, I may actually be able to farm down the Hypno. They aggressively switch back into the Sand Slash and go for a move. This should only be a Night Slash, though, and Night Slash is not going to be enough to take out the Lapras. Lapras tanks it, able to farm down, and we leave with the Surf loaded. Surf is going to be taking out the Shadow Hypno, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Nidoqueen into Lickitung. Fairly neutral lead. I'm going to stay in here for a while to get some chip damage before I do eventually safe swap out. So I am going for the Poison Fang as soon as I get it. May as well lower their defense as early as possible. They tank it. They save switch into their own Shadow Nidoqueen. I bring in Lapras, but I am very slow on the swap. And that is unfortunate because a Shadow Nidoqueen with an energy lead is incredibly deadly. They will commit the shield, and they're at a move. They have a ton of energy. I decide to call it, and it is just a Poison Fang. That is quite nice. I'm going to call this second Poison Fang as well, and then hope that I should be able to reach the Surf, but I miscalculate, and I get farmed down. This is not great. I'm going to bring back my Shadow Nidoqueen and attempt to one-shield farm down. I do commit the shield. They bait me with the Poison Fang. They bring in Hypno. They give up Switch, and that will cost them because we have ALOLAN Raticate in the back to absolutely destroy the Hypno. Hypno goes for a Thunder Punch. We tank that no problem, and we're going to build up to the back-to-back crunches. Again, not enough to KO, but we'll do quite a lot of damage, and we actually get a shield. Honestly, that's perfectly fine with me because I'm going to be able to no-shield that, overfarm quite a bit, and throw another crunch. So this way, I have a bunch of residual energy for whatever they decide to bring in. They bring back in the Lickitung, and we're going to be able to reach the return. This will do huge damage onto the Lickitung, almost taking it out, and we are able to snipe with the Poison Fang from Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen taking down the Lickitung, back in comes their Nidoqueen, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, picking up another terrible lead, Shadow Nidoqueen into Dewgong. I'm going to immediately save switch into Lapras. Dewgong farms up and then brings in Hypno. This is a little unfortunate as I would much rather see the Hypno lined up against my ALOLAN Raticate. But surprisingly enough, Lapras doesn't have a terrible matchup here. Lapras is able to tank a Thunder Punch, and the Surf plus Ice Shard damage will really add up on the Hypno. I'm going to farm up as much as I can and go for this Surf just before they reach the second Thunder Punch. This will get them very low. We actually get a shield, and honestly, that works great for me. The best I can really hope for out of this matchup is shield advantage, but ALOLAN Raticate can put in a lot of work with shield advantage. I'm just going to farm up a ton. They only threw 4 confusions. This can only be a punch. They're going for the Thunder Punch. That's totally fine. I'm going to keep farming up and then look to catch the Thunder Punch back onto the Shadow Nidoqueen where it is going to be double resisted. They'll be bringing back in the Dewgong, but this is now a very different game as we now have shield advantage. And with shield advantage, Shadow Nidoqueen may be able to flip this. We go for the Poison Fang, but unfortunately they are going to be able to go for the Icy Wind, which is going to lower my attack in retaliation. I will commit the shield. We are able to reach another Poison Fang, but this is not enough to KO. Poison Fang does land, but they're still able to reach another Icy Wind. I will commit the final shield, protecting Nidoqueen. We're going to bring back in the Raticate and Snipe with a quick attack. We have maxed energy, and they have Snarl, ALOLAN Muck in the back, going straight for the return. Return does big damage, and now I can just go straight crunch. We are going for the crunch. The question is, are we in Sludge Wave range? I think we are just outside of it, but they throw after 4 Snarls, meaning this is only a Dark Pulse. They must be running Acid Spray. We're going to be able to get the win, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Nidoqueen into the mirror. This is always a tough mirror match to play out, a very dangerous game of baiting versus going for the nuke move, and when do you commit a shield? I decide to go for the extra poison jab, I'm able to get it, I commit the shield, but I do get baited. I decide to full send the Earth Power here, hoping that they decide to call it, but they do commit the shield, I save switch into Lapras, and they throw some energy. I tank whatever they throw here. They just go for a Poison Fang, and then they bring in their own Lapras. So very similar teams, but they are running the Shadow Lapras. I am going to full send the Skull Bash. This will do big damage if it lands, and the opponent does commit the shield. At +1 defense, I should be able to tank a Skull Bash and reach a Skull Bash of my own, so I am going to let that through. That does a ton of damage, and suddenly, I realize I made a huge mistake. I forgot that I was at -1 defense due to the Poison Fang, so the Skull Bash did more damage than I was expecting, and now, honestly, I'm in a lot of trouble. ALOLAN Raticate is going to have to put in a ton of work if I have any chance of winning this game. I will commit the shield on the Surf. I'm going to throw 6 quick attacks, so that way I can throw the return on the CMP tie for that next Surf. Return is going to be able to take out the Lapras. Now the question is, does that Nidoqueen come back in, or do we see their final Pokemon? It is the Nidoqueen, trying to get to the crunch, but the opponent makes an incredible catch, catching the crunch onto Pidgeot, and suddenly, I have a tough job ahead of me. I need to take out the Pidgeot before the Pidgeot reaches a move, but leave with enough residual energy to outpace the opponent's Nidoqueen. We farm down, we're 4 away. Is it enough? It is not, as we get outpaced by 1 poison jab, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, sending Shadow Nidoqueen into Pidgeot. This is a pretty decent lead, so I don't mind staying in here whatsoever. Nidoqueen is going to dramatically outpace Pidgeot, and we're able to go for the Poison Fang. This is not enough to KO, but it does do a significant amount of damage, and with the Poison Jabs as well, able to get that Pidgeot deep into the red. They full send the Brave Bird, we commit the shield, and we're able to farm down. They bring in ALOLAN Graveler, which is going to be a brutal farm down for them. I decide to go for the Poison Fang bait. We get the shield, and it's Rock Throw ALOLAN Graveler. A very cool pick. Going for the Earth Power here. Earth Power does get the second shield, but we should be in a pretty okay spot here because I can align it with ALOLAN Raticate. And it is Electrode in the back. Electrode farming up, trying for the Hyper Beam, but ALOLAN Raticate says no. Able to reach the return, taking out the Electrode. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All in all, I really enjoyed running Purified ALOLAN Raticate. Return feels like the perfect second move for it. Not overly expensive, but still hits significantly harder than Hyper Fang. And overall, definitely feels like a much improved Pokemon and a very solid contender for the Kanto Cup. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.